Captain Alara Voss stood on the observation deck of the Zephyros, her flagship, staring out at the stars. Millions of lights twinkled in the darkness, each one a distant sun. Each one a reminder of how small and fragile humanity had become. She had spent decades in the service of the Galactic Coalition, traveling to countless planets, witnessing civilizations rise and fall. And yet, none had intrigued her as much as humanity as species. She had once believed strong, but now thought broken. The report that had summoned her here had been clear. Humanity was struggling. After centuries of war and conflict, their colonies were fragmented, their technology scattered, and their morale fragile. Many in the Coalition had written them off as a dying race. Alara herself had initially agreed. Why waste resources on a people so weak? But curiosity had brought her closer. The Zephyros drifted silently in orbit above Earth's solar system, cloaked to avoid detection. From this vantage point, Alara could watch humanity without interference, unseen and unknown. And as she observed, she felt a stirring of something unexpected. Below, on the surface of Mars, children played near the remnants of an old colony dome. Their laughter echoed faintly through the thin air, carried by advanced communication devices that allowed their parents to monitor them from afar. These children had never known a fully peaceful world. Their parents had fought to survive against both natural disasters and interstellar conflicts. Yet here they were, smiling, running, learning. They were small, fragile, and yet undeniably alive. On Earth, Alara watched settlements struggling to repair themselves after pirate raids and local skirmishes. Men and women worked together to rebuild homes, sharing food, water, and hope. Scientists labored in laboratories powered by patched-together equipment, pushing forward with discoveries that could help humanity survive. It was slow, painstaking work. Yet, despite everything, they persisted. Alara had expected despair, surrender, and resignation. Instead, she found determination. She frowned slightly, noting it in her report logs. This was not the behavior of a species ready to vanish. Quietly into history, her thoughts were interrupted by the sudden alarm on the bridge. Red lights flashed as the communication console lit up. Captain Voss. Incoming message from the Coalition Command, said her aide, a sleek, silver-skinned alien named Terran. His voice had a calm precision that often made Alara feel uneasy. She tapped the console. A holographic projection appeared before her, showing the stern face of Admiral Chiron. Alara, he began. We have just received reports of a major attack on one of humanity's outer colonies. The situation is dire. Their defenses are minimal, and casualties could be high. We need your assessment. Alara listened carefully, her eyes narrowing. She had expected this. The human colonies had always been vulnerable, scattered across distant star systems with limited resources. But even now, the Coalition hesitated to intervene. They wanted proof that humanity's strength or weakness was real. I will assess the situation, Alara said, her voice steady. But Admiral, I must warn you, humanity may not respond as you expect. Chiron's expression hardened. We need facts, Captain. Do not let sentiment cloud your judgment. Alara ended the call and turned to Terran. Prepare the shuttle. I want to see this colony for myself. The journey was quiet. Alara watched the stars drift past as the Zephyros moved through the void, and her mind wandered. She remembered the early days of humanity, when they had first ventured into space. Bold, curious, and unyielding. Even as they fought among themselves, they had explored planets, built ships, and reached for the stars with nothing but courage and ambition. Somewhere along the way, much of that spark had dimmed, but had it truly been lost? The shuttle descended toward the colony on the planet Lasara 7, a small world on the fringes of human-controlled space. As they approached, Alara could see the damage. Buildings were shattered, energy shields flickered, and smoke rose from several points. Yet, among the ruins, movement persisted. Humans were working together, lifting debris, tending to the wounded, and organizing defenses. Alara's interest deepened. She had expected chaos and panic. Instead, she saw order and determination. A group of engineers was repairing a collapsed power grid, while others reinforced barricades around the central hub. Children had been moved to secure shelters, yet their laughter and chatter were faintly audible. Small reminder of life amid destruction. Remarkable, she murmured. They are not surrendering. Teren tilted his head. They are outmatched, Captain. Should we intervene? Ilara shook her head. Not yet. I want to understand them first. If humanity is truly weak, we will see it. But if they are stronger than we think, we must learn why. She exited the shuttle and walked among the humans. Their gazes followed her, wary but not afraid. One of the colony's leaders, a tall man with streaks of gray in his hair, approached her cautiously. Who are you? He asked, voice firm despite the chaos. I am Captain Ilara Voss, she replied. I have come to observe. I mean no harm. He studied her for a long moment. Then observed carefully. We are barely holding on. Every day is a fight to survive. Ilara nodded, noting his pride and resilience. Tell me about your defenses, she said. He led her to the command center, showing her the colony's systems. They were crude compared to Coalition standards improvised energy shields, patched-together communications, and scavenged weaponry. Yet they worked. Humans had found ways to make do with what they had, using ingenuity and quick thinking to overcome their limitations. She watched as they coordinated a countermeasure against a simulated attack. Despite the simplicity of their tools, the humans moved with precision, anticipating problems before they occurred. Each decision was a mixture of logic, intuition, and courage. Ilara's admiration grew. That evening, she stood on a hill overlooking the colony. Fires burned in controlled zones, smoke spiraled into the sky. The wind carried the sounds of life voices, laughter, and the quiet hum of machinery. Humanity was battered, yes, but not broken. Ilara thought back to the first reports she had read. Humanity was fragile, weak, and divided. Yet here they were, standing tall, holding together through sheer willpower and ingenuity. For the first time, she felt uncertainty about her mission. Had she underestimated them? The next morning, the colony received news of another incoming threat, a fleet of raiders seeking to exploit their vulnerability. Panic could have set in, but it did not. Humans organized themselves, assigning roles, planning strategies, and reinforcing defenses. Ilara watched silently as they prepared. Impressed by their courage and coordination, a young engineer named Kale caught her attention. He was barely out of his teens, but moved with a confidence and creativity that belied his age. He examined a damaged shield generator, muttering ideas under his breath, then quickly implemented a fix that restored partial functionality. Watching him, Ilara realized something profound. Humanity's strength did not lie solely in their weapons or technology. It lay in their minds, their hearts, and their unyielding determination to survive and protect one another. That night, as the two moons of Lyserosovin rose over the horizon, Ilara found herself alone on the observation hill. She gazed at the colony, a sense of anticipation building in her chest. Something had shifted within her. She had come to judge humanity, to determine whether they were worthy of attention or extinction. Yet now, she felt a strange respect, perhaps even hope. Ilara whispered to herself, perhaps their strength was never lost. I simply had not seen it yet. As she returned to the colony, the distant lights of the settlement twinkled like stars scattered across the planet. She knew the real test had not yet come. Humanity's true abilities would be revealed in the days ahead through courage, ingenuity, and unity. And when that moment arrived, she would be there to witness it. For now, she waited. She watched. And, for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to wonder, could humanity rise again? Not just to survive, but to reclaim its place among the stars? The answer, she sensed, would come soon. The morning sun rose slowly over Lyser 7, casting a golden glow across the human colony. Despite the scars of previous attacks, the settlement buzzed with quiet determination. Ilara Voss walked among the humans, noting every detail of the way they organized themselves, how they moved with purpose, and how they supported each other. The day brought news that a small fleet of alien raiders was approaching the colony. Their ships, sleek and intimidating, were designed to overwhelm human defenses quickly. Ilara expected fear. What she witnessed instead made her heart beat faster, not with anxiety, but with admiration. Humans did not panic. They moved calmly but swiftly, assigning roles to every able-bodied person. Engineers worked on reinforcing shield generators, while communications specialists relayed information to other nearby colonies. Farmers and builders who had no formal combat training were drafted to help set up barriers and supply lines. The colony, despite being under-resourced, operated like a well-oiled machine. Kale, the young engineer Ilara had noticed the previous day, ran between workstations, coordinating teams and troubleshooting problems. His bright eyes reflected a mind constantly at work, calculating, inventing, and adapting. He noticed a damaged shield node and frowned, muttering, "We can reroute power through the secondary conduit. If it holds?" Ilara leaned closer to Terran, her alien aide. "They improvise. Even under pressure, they don't freeze. They think." Terran tilted his head. "Impressive, but still fragile. One misstep, and they could be destroyed." Ilara shook her head slightly. "Perhaps, but it is not weakness that defines them. It is courage and resourcefulness. They do not wait for help, they create their own." The first wave of alien ships entered the colony's orbital space. The humans, with their limited but clever defenses, launched countermeasures. They had no massive weapons or advanced fleets, but they had something equally powerful: ingenuity, using outdated drones. They created decoys to confuse the alien sensors. Engineers like Kale worked with scientists to modify energy shields in ways the aliens did not expect. When a strike came too close to critical life support modules, the humans managed to redirect it using a combination of old technology and quick thinking. Ilara watched from a safe distance, hidden from the battlefield, and took careful notes. The aliens had expected humans to crumble instantly, but the humans' coordinated efforts forced the attackers to retreat, frustrated and confused. It was a small victory, but a significant one. After the battle, the humans did not celebrate loudly. They were too busy tending to the wounded, repairing damage, and ensuring that their defenses would hold if another wave came. Ilara was struck by their humility. There was no arrogance, no boastfulness, just an unshakable determination to protect their home. Kale approached her while carrying a toolkit. "Captain Voss," he said respectfully, though his eyes shone with pride, "we've patched the shields and repaired the energy conduits. It should hold for another attack." Ilara nodded, impressed. "You acted quickly and intelligently. I underestimated your resourcefulness." Kale smiled slightly. "We don't have the luxury of hesitation. Every day, every moment counts. We survive by thinking, adapting, and helping each other." That evening, Ilara attended a meeting with the colony leaders. They were a mix of scientists, engineers, and civilians who had stepped into leadership roles out of necessity. Each spoke with clarity and purpose, planning for the future while acknowledging the limitations they faced. "We cannot fight their fleets directly," said one leader, a woman named Leora, "but we can defend our people, protect vital resources, and use strategy to outsmart them. Our strength is not in numbers, but in how we use what we have." Ilara felt a growing respect for these humans. Their bravery was evident, but it was paired with intelligence, adaptability, and collaboration. It was a combination rarely seen in other species. She realized that this was what made humanity special. Later that night, Lara walked through the colony's central square. Families huddled together, sharing what little they had. Children studied under dim lights, learning the knowledge of past generations. Elders shared stories of survival, teaching younger humans that courage was as important as skill. Ilara paused to observe a small boy, helping a girl repair a mechanical toy. Even in hardship, she whispered to herself, they find ways to nurture hope. The next day brought new challenges. Reports indicated another alien fleet was approaching, larger and more organized than the first. Humans could not hope to face them with conventional tactics. Instead, they relied on creativity. Kale and a team of engineers devised a plan to use the planet's terrain to their advantage. They created hidden channels and tunnels, reinforced weak points, and set up automated systems that could confuse and mislead the alien attackers. Each human played a role, no task too small, no effort wasted. When the fleet arrived, the humans executed their plan flawlessly. Alien ships became entangled in the planet's defenses, their movements slowed and disrupted by traps the humans had prepared. Communication networks were scrambled by modified devices, causing confusion among the attackers, and the humans, using clever diversion tactics, managed to damage critical components of several ships without direct confrontation. Ilara observed, her skepticism fading. These humans were outmatched in every conventional sense: smaller fleets, weaker shields, older technology, but they had something stronger than brute force: creativity, unity, and courage. Every action they took was calculated, adaptive, and effective. After the battle, the colony was intact. Minor damage was repaired quickly, and the human survivors worked tirelessly to ensure the settlement was ready for the next challenge. Ilara realized that humanity's true strength was not about size, firepower, or advanced technology. It was about resilience and ingenuity, about refusing to surrender, and about working together in the face of overwhelming odds. That evening, she spoke with Kale privately. "You are remarkable," she said. "You have shown me that humans are not weak. You survive, adapt, and fight in ways others could not imagine." Kale smiled, though he appeared thoughtful. "We don't think of it as remarkable. It's simply what we must do to live. Every day is a choice to give up or to keep going. Most of us choose to keep going." Ilara was struck by the simplicity and honesty of his words. It was not arrogance that drove humanity. It was necessity, responsibility, and hope. They did not seek glory, only survival, and the chance to protect those they cared about. As she returned to her observation post that night, she watched the colony below. Fires from small generators flickered in the evening light, creating a network of warmth and life across the settlement. The humans were exhausted but unbroken. They were tired, battered, and tested, yet they endured. Ilara felt a shift within herself. She had come to observe, to judge, to report on a species she thought weak. Instead, she found something far more profound, a strength that could not be measured in numbers or technology alone. Humanity's strength was in their hearts, their minds, and their refusal to surrender. She recorded her observations carefully. "Humans demonstrate resilience beyond expectations," she wrote. "They combine intelligence, courage, and empathy to overcome challenges that should overwhelm them. Their strength lies not in domination, but in unity and determination." That night, Lysora 7's moons rose over the horizon, casting long shadows across the colony. Ilara stood silently, reflecting on the events of the day. She had witnessed small victories, moments of ingenuity, and acts of quiet bravery. She had seen humans face danger not with fear, but with creativity and resolve. For the first time in her career, Ilara wondered whether she had been wrong to doubt humanity. Perhaps their true power had never been lost. Perhaps it had always been there, waiting for the moment to shine. And she knew that moment was coming, because humans were not just surviving. They were preparing. And when the real test arrived, Ilara suspected that the galaxy would see the full measure of humanity's courage, determination, and strength. The following weeks brought new challenges for the colony on Lysarusavan, reports indicated that a massive alien fleet was approaching, far larger and more organized than any humans had faced before. It was a fleet designed not just to destroy, but to intimidate and dominate. Many outside observers believed that humanity could not withstand it. But Ilara Voss, having witnessed the humans' ingenuity and courage, felt a different anticipation, a mix of curiosity and admiration. Ilara moved among the colony's command center again. Watching humans prepare for the coming conflict, scientists, engineers, and civilians worked tirelessly, transforming the settlement into a network of defenses. Every structure, every system, every resource was analyzed and optimized. Humans did not wait for the aliens to act. They created their own solutions, anticipating attacks before they came. Kale, a recognized leader among the engineers, coordinated the efforts. He ran simulations of potential alien strategies and adjusted the colony's defenses accordingly. If they approach from the north corridor, he explained, we can reroute the energy shields to that sector and create a decoy to mislead them. They will waste time trying to figure it out, giving us a chance to strike back. Alara nodded, impressed. She had seen countless species in her lifetime, but none combined intelligence, creativity, and courage in such a seamless way. The humans' ingenuity was not just technoclite, was instinctive, moral, and deeply connected to their desire to protect each other. Meanwhile, the colony trained its inhabitants. Civilians learned how to operate defensive equipment. Medics practiced triage under pressure, and scouts studied the terrain to provide real-time intelligence. Even children were taught essential survival skills in a safe and structured way. It was a remarkable sight. A population that had been considered weak was becoming a coordinated and capable force, prepared to face impossible odds. When the alien fleet arrived, its size was staggering. Ships glided through space like predators, their metal hulls glinting ominously under the light of Lysora 7's twin suns. The humans, however, did not falter. Using the terrain, improvised technology, and clever strategies, they managed to disrupt the aliens' formations. Automated defenses hidden among mountains and valleys slowed the attackers' advance. While decoy systems forced confusion in their ranks, Kale led a team to implement critical maneuver, a coordinated strike on the alien fleet's supply lines. Using modified drones and energy pulses, they disabled several vessels without engaging in direct combat. It was risky, but it worked. The aliens were forced to retreat temporarily. Their advance slowed. Lei observed everything from a high command station, taking careful notes. Humans had no advantage in firepower, no superior numbers, and no advanced fleets. What they had was something far more powerful: creativity, adaptability, and unity. Each action was deliberate, each choice calculated, and every individual understood the importance of their role. But the trials were far from over. As the aliens regrouped, they launched a new assault, this time targeting the colony's power grid and communications network. Without these systems, the humans would be blind, vulnerable, and disorganized. The humans did not panic. Engineers scrambled to repair damaged circuits while scientists devised backup systems. Civilians assisted in moving essential resources and reinforcing structures. Kale noticed a weak point in the main shield generator and improvised a solution, combining old equipment with raw ingenuity. He rerouted energy in a way no one had tried before. The generator stabilized and the colony's defenses held. Amidst the chaos, Alara witnessed acts of quiet heroism. A medic carried injured humans through debris-filled corridors, shielding them from falling rubble. A group of scouts guided a convoy through dangerous terrain, ensuring supplies reached critical locations. Families worked together to provide food, water, and comfort to those in need. Each act was small in isolation. Together, they created an unbreakable chain of resilience. By the evening, the aliens were forced to retreat again, their strategy frustrated by the humans' ingenuity. For the first time, Lara sensed that humanity might not just survive, they might actually win that night. The colony gathered for a meeting in the central hall. Maps of the planet projected in holograms displayed the positions of the alien fleet and the defensive strategies humans had implemented. Leaders discussed what they had learned, what adjustments were necessary, how to prepare for the next attack. You all did well today. Leora, the colony's lead strategist, addressed the group. We held our ground, but the fight is not over. Every day will bring new challenges. We must continue to innovate, to adapt, and to protect one another. Applause filled the hall. Not with arrogance, but with pride and determination. Humans were aware of their limitations, yet they faced them with courage and clarity. Alara approached Kale privately. You are remarkable, she said. Your strategies and inventions today saved countless lives. Kale shook his head. It was not me alone. Everyone played a part. No one is stronger than the group as a whole. That is why we survive. That is why we will continue to survive. Lara realized he was right. It was not individual brilliance alone that defined humanity, it was collaboration, empathy, and shared purpose. Each person contributed to a greater whole, creating a force that could withstand challenges far greater than themselves. The next morning, the aliens returned, this time with an even more powerful strategy. They deployed advanced ships capable of bypassing many of the humans' defenses, aiming directly at the colony's core. Humans responded with ingenuity once more. Engineers had prepared contingency plans for such an event, and medics and civilians assisted in evacuation. Procedures to minimize casualties. Kale led a critical operation to disable one of the alien command vessels. Using modified drones and a carefully timed diversion, they managed to penetrate the ship's weak points. Systems faltered, and the alien vessel was forced to retreat. Ilara watched, amazed. Humanity had turned a near-impossible situation into a victory through creativity, courage, and determination. She made a note in her logs. Humans demonstrate an ability to adapt rapidly to unforeseen challenges, combining intellect, resourcefulness, and moral courage in ways unmatched by other species. Later, Ilara walked among the humans as they repaired damage and restored normalcy. Despite exhaustion, their spirits remained high. Children played cautiously, learning lessons from the day's events. Adults shared stories of the challenges they had overcome. Instilling hope and confidence in one another, Ilara thought about the humans. She had encountered over the past weeks the young engineer, the strategists, the medics, and the ordinary civilians who stepped up when needed. Each person contributed in meaningful ways, creating a community that was not just surviving, but thriving in the face of adversity. She understood something profound. The human strength was not in raw power or advanced technology. It was in their ingenuity, resilience, empathy, and unity. They faced impossible odds and adapted, creating solutions no one else could have imagined. They protected one another, cared for their people, never lost hope. As the sun set over Lysarosavin, casting long shadows across the colony, Ilara stood on the observation hill once more. Fires from energy generators flickered across the settlement, illuminating a network of life, hope, and courage. Humans were battered, yes, but unbroken. They were learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each challenge. Ilara whispered to herself, "I thought their strength was lost, but it was never gone. It was here all along, quiet, resilient, and ready to rise when the time came." She returned to the command station and began preparing reports not for judgment, but for understanding. Humanity had not only survived, they had proven their potential, their capacity to endure, and their ability to overcome the seemingly impossible. And Ilara knew that this was only the beginning. The coming days would test humans in ways they had never imagined. But she also knew that, equipped with their ingenuity, courage, and unity, they would face every trial with strength that no one, not even the galaxy itself, could ignore. For the first time in her life, Ilara felt a deep admiration for a species she had once doubted. Humanity was not fragile. Humanity was extraordinary, and soon the universe would see why. The skies above Lysarosavin burned with streaks of light as human fleets and alien ships engaged in a careful, tense dance of strategy and counter-strategy. The colony had grown into a hub of coordination, uniting neighboring settlements in a network of defense and intelligence. What had once been a small, scattered settlement now stood as a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. Captain Ilara. Voss watched from her observation post, her heart racing not with fear, but with anticipation. She had seen humans face impossible odds before, but this was different. This was the moment where their full potential would be revealed. She knew it. Kale, standing next to her, pointed toward a cluster of alien ships maneuvering into position. "They're trying to flank us from the North Corridor," he said. "If we let them, they could break through our shields and reach the main settlement." Ilara nodded. "What's the plan?" Kale's eyes sparkled with determination. "We'll lure them into the canyon fields. Our automated defenses will trap them, while the rest of the fleet attacks from behind. It's risky, but it could work." Ilara studied the young engineer, amazed. Humans had learned not only to survive, but to think several steps ahead of their opponents. Their strategy was not about brute force. It was about intelligence, adaptability, and courage. The humans mobilized quickly. Ships took formation, ground teams activated hidden defenses, and engineers recalibrated energy shields to maximize efficiency. Civilians assisted wherever possible, transporting supplies, monitoring communications, and maintaining equipment. Every person played a role. Every action counted. When the alien fleet advanced into the canyon fields, the humans' trap worked perfectly. Automated defenses activated, creating energy barriers and decoys that confused the attackers. Alien ships collided with one another, slowed by the humans' careful planning. Humans and their ships maneuvered precisely, striking weak points and forcing retreats. Alara observed, her skepticism completely replaced by awe. Humanity was not just fighting, they were thriving under pressure. Every move, every decision, every small act of courage contributed to a larger success. The aliens, despite their superior technology, were struggling to maintain control. On the ground, Kale led a team of engineers to deploy additional countermeasures. They used repurposed energy conduits and old communication arrays to create a field that interfered with the alien fleet's navigation systems. It was a bold move, but it worked. Ships veered off course, leaving them vulnerable to human attacks. Leora, the colony's strategist, coordinated from the command center. Her calm voice guided the fleet, directing attacks, reinforcing defenses, and adjusting plans in real time. The humans were synchronized. A single organism working together to achieve an impossible goal. Ilara noticed small, heroic actions that might have gone unnoticed to an outsider. A medic rescued a group of civilians trapped under debris. Scouts guided supply convoys through dangerous terrain. Children and elders were moved safely to secure locations while the rest of the colony held strong. These acts were quiet, simple, and vital. As the battle raged, Ilara reflected on what made humanity extraordinary. It was not their weapons, nor their numbers, nor even their technology. It was their courage, empathy, and adaptability. Humans faced fear and uncertainty, yet they acted with clarity and purpose. They protected each other, cared for each other, and refused to give in to despair. The turning point came when Kale and a small team managed to infiltrate an alien supply vessel. Using clever improvisation and a deep understanding of both human and alien technology, it disabled critical systems, forcing the ship to retreat. It was a daring act, but it worked flawlessly. Saving countless lives and tipping the balance of the battle, Ilara stood silently, recording the events. She realized that humans had not just survived, they had transformed adversity into opportunity, creating victories out of situations that would have broken other species. As the alien fleet began to withdraw, the humans regrouped. The colony had suffered some damage, but the losses were minimal compared to what could have been. Humans worked together immediately to repair structures, restore power, and ensure that everyone was safe. That evening, the humans gathered in the central hall to discuss their next steps. Maps and holograms displayed the remaining alien forces, and leaders debated the best strategy for the coming days. Ilara attended the meeting, silently observing the discussion. The humans' confidence was evident, but it was tempered by wisdom and caution. They were proud, yes, but not reckless. Kale spoke to the group. "We have shown that we can defend ourselves, but we cannot stop here. The aliens will return. We must continue to improve, innovate, and coordinate. Every person here has a part to play. That is how we survive and thrive." Ilara smiled quietly. Humanity's strength was not just in their ability to fight, but in their ability to learn and grow from every challenge. They were shaping themselves into a species capable of standing toe-to-toe with even the most advanced civilizations. Later that night, Ilara walked alone to the observation hill overlooking the colony. Fires burned softly, illuminating the settlement like stars scattered across the landscape. Humans moved through the streets with calm determination, preparing, reinforcing, and preparing for the future. Ilara whispered to herself, "I thought their strength was lost. But it was always here, quiet and steady, waiting for the moment to shine. She thought of the countless humans she had seen over the past week scale, Leora medics, engineers, and ordinary civilians. Each had acted with courage and intelligence, contributing to the survival and success of the colony. Together, they formed a force far greater than the sum of their parts. The next morning brought new reports. Intelligence suggested that the alien coalition's command center was vulnerable. A direct strike could cripple the fleet and prevent further attacks on human colonies. It was a risky mission, one that had never been attempted before. Ilara knew that this was the moment humanity had been preparing for. They had faced impossible odds, adapted, and triumphed. Now, they had the chance to demonstrate their full potential. Humans from multiple colonies united, forming a coordinated strike force. Engineers and scientists developed specialized equipment, soldiers trained tirelessly, and civilians supported the mission with supplies, intelligence, and guidance. Every detail was considered, every contingency planned for as the fleet approached the alien command center. The humans executed their plan with precision. Diversions, traps, and clever maneuvers allowed them to bypass defenses, disrupt communication networks, and infiltrate critical systems. The alien command center, once thought untouchable, was suddenly vulnerable. Ilara watched, her heart swelling with pride. Humans had not only survived, they had mastered strategy, technology, collaboration in ways that even she had not anticipated. Their strength was no longer hidden. It was clear, undeniable, and awe-inspiring. The mission succeeded. The alien command center was disabled, forcing the coalition to retreat. Human colonies across the sector were safe, at least for now. But more importantly, humanity had proven something extraordinary, that they were not a species to be underestimated. They were intelligent, adaptable, courageous, and united. As the dust settled, humans celebrated not with arrogance or cruelty, but with quiet pride and gratitude. They had achieved something incredible, and yet they remained humble. Aware that the universe still held many challenges, Ilara joined the celebration quietly, reflecting on her journey. She had come to Lasora 7, expecting to judge humanity, to determine whether they were strong or weak. Instead, she had witnessed something far more remarkable, a species capable of overcoming any obstacle through ingenuity, courage, and unity. She realized that humanity's strength had never been lost. It had been quietly growing, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. And now, standing before her, it shone brighter than she had ever imagined. Ilara recorded her final observations for the day. Humanity has demonstrated extraordinary potential. Their ingenuity, resilience, and unity allow them to overcome challenges far beyond what their resources would suggest. They are not merely survivors, they are a species capable of shaping their destiny, inspiring hope and standing as equals among the stars. As the night settled over Lasora 7, Ilara gazed at the humans below. Fires flickered softly, shadows danced, and life continued in the quiet, persistent rhythm of survival and hope. Humanity was not finished. Humanity was awakening, and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy was quiet for the first time in decades. Human colonies across the stars had survived wave after wave of attacks, and the alien coalition that had once threatened to dominate them had been forced into retreat. It was a fragile peace, yet it felt different. This was not a surrender. It was recognition. Humanity had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with, not through sheer firepower alone, but through courage, ingenuity, and unity. On Lasora 7, the central settlement had transformed from a fragile outpost into a hub of resilience and planning. Fires burned softly in protective generators, children laughed as they studied under bright lights, adults moved with purpose, repairing, organizing, and preparing. The colony had survived trials that would have crushed most civilizations, yet the humans remained unbroken, confident, and ready to face the future. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the observation hill once more, gazing at the lights of the settlement below. She had witnessed humanity's rise from near defeat to unprecedented triumph, and she could hardly contain her admiration. Their strength was not in the weapons they carried or the fleets they commanded, was in their hearts, their minds, and the bonds they shared. Kale approached, his steps quiet on the hilltop. "The colony is secure," he said. "For now." Alara smiled. "For now?" Kale shrugged. "The galaxy is vast. There will always be new challenges. But the humans you've seen here, they can handle them. They are stronger than anyone realizes." Lara nodded. It was true. The humans had faced impossible odds, and had not just survived, they had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Each challenge had revealed their ingenuity, courage, and empathy. It was a force far more enduring than any weapon. The news from the other colonies confirmed it. Human settlements, once scattered and vulnerable, had coordinated their efforts, forming alliances, sharing technology, and preparing defenses. They were no longer isolated. They were a network of resilience and cooperation, capable of surviving and thriving together. Ilara reflected on her journey. When she had first arrived, she had thought humanity's strength was lost. She had expected despair, weakness, and surrender. Instead, she had witnessed determination, creativity, and moral courage at every level. Humans did not wait for miracles. They created them. They did not hope for salvation. They acted to save themselves. Leora, the colony's lead strategist, joined them on the hilltop. "The alien fleet has retreated," she said. "We've gained time to strengthen our defenses, share knowledge with other colonies, and prepare for the future. Humanity is no longer defenseless. We are united." Ilara turned to her. "You and your people have done something extraordinary. Not just defending yourselves, but proving that humans can achieve the impossible." Leora smiled gently. "We didn't do it alone. Everyone contributed: the engineers, the medics, the children learning to adapt, the families who supported one another. That is our true strength. It is not just one person or one group. It is all of us working together." Lara watched the humans below the hill, moving through their daily tasks with calm determination. Their lives were simple in some ways: repairing homes, tending to gardens, teaching children, but every action was meaningful. Every contribution mattered. It was a testament to their resilience and unity. The following weeks were a time of rebuilding and preparation. Humans shared knowledge, repaired damaged infrastructure, and trained the next generation to face the universe with courage and intelligence. Colonies formed councils to govern themselves collaboratively, sharing strategies, resources, and discoveries. Humanity was no longer scattered and vulnerable. They were organized, innovative, and resilient. Ilara took part in these discussions, offering insights from her knowledge of other civilizations. She realized that humans were eager to learn, but also unafraid to act on their own ideas. Their willingness to experiment, to adapt, and to trust one another was extraordinary. She had never seen such potential in any species she had encountered. One evening, she stood on the observation hill, watching a new human fleet taking shape in orbit around Lysura 7. Ships were sleek, efficient, and designed not only for defense, but for exploration and cooperation. Humans had learned from the trials of the past, transforming setbacks into lessons, weaknesses into strengths. Kale joined her again, pointing to the fleet. "These ships are built not just to fight, but to explore, to connect with other colonies, and to protect what we have built. Humanity is learning to stand as one." Ilara nodded. "You are preparing not only for survival, but for a future where humans have a place among the stars. You are thinking beyond fear, beyond conflict. You are creating a legacy." As the sun rose over Lysura 7, humans continued their work with a quiet determination. Children learned science, history, and problem-solving. Engineers tested new inventions, improving life for everyone. Civilians participated in planning, education, and community building. Everyone had a role. Everyone understood the importance of their contributions. Ilara realized that this was what set humans apart. They were not simply fighters, they were creators, thinkers, and collaborators. They had turned survival into opportunity, weakness into strength, and despair into hope. Their achievements were not based on dominance. but on ingenuity, empathy, and unity. In the coming months, humans reached out to nearby alien civilizations, forming alliances based on trust and mutual respect. They shared their strategies, their inventions, and their culture, demonstrating that strength could coexist with compassion. The galaxy began to take notice. Humanity was no longer a vulnerable species. They were a rising force, not through fear, but through excellence, cooperation, and moral courage. Alara documented her observations in her final report to the Galactic Coalition. Humans have shown resilience, ingenuity, and unity beyond expectation, she wrote. They face impossible challenges with courage and creativity, transforming adversity into opportunity. Humanity's strength lies not in weapons or fleets alone, but in their hearts, minds, and collaboration. They are a species worthy of recognition, respect, and partnership. Their potential is extraordinary, and the galaxy will benefit from their continued growth. She closed her report, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had proven itself not only to her, but to the universe. She had been sent to judge them, but instead, she had witnessed something far greater, a species capable of achieving greatness through resilience, intelligence, and unity. The colony below continued its work into the evening. Fires flickered softly, casting warm light across streets and buildings. Families shared meals, children laughed, and communities thrived. Every small act, every moment of effort, contributed to the larger story of survival and triumph. Alara stood quietly, reflecting on what she had learned. Humanity's journey had been long and difficult, but they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. They had faced trials that would have destroyed others, yet they had persevered. They had proven that true strength was not measured by domination or fear, but by courage, ingenuity, and unity. As the moons of Lysarosavan rose in the night sky, Alara whispered to herself, humanity's strength was never lost. It was always here, quietly growing, ready to shine. And now, the galaxy will see it. They stand not only to survive, but to thrive, to inspire, and to create a better future. Kale joined her once more, looking out at the settlement below. We have come far, he said softly. Yes, Alara replied, and this is only the beginning. Humanity has the potential to shape its own destiny, to rise among the stars, and to lead by example. You have shown that strength is not just about power, it is about courage, creativity, and compassion. The humans on Lysarosavan would continue to grow, explore, and learn. They would face new challenges, encounter unknown civilizations, and adapt to an ever-changing universe. But they would do so together as a united species capable of extraordinary achievements. Alara looked down at the colony, feeling a deep sense of hope. Humanity had not only survived, they had thrived. They had taken adversity and turned it into opportunity. They had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. The galaxy had witnessed their courage, and it would never underestimate humanity again. And so, the humans of Lysarosavan, countless other colonies across the stars continued to build their legacy. One act of ingenuity, courage, and unity at a time. They were not merely survivors. They were innovators, explorers, and heroes. Alara knew that she had seen something rare and beautiful, a species that had discovered the true measure of its strength, and with that knowledge, she allowed herself a rare smile. Humanity had not only faced the universe, they had embraced it, and the universe would never be the same.